Hello everybody, this is the week 5 announcements for our astronomy classes. In week 5, we are moving into unit 1, part 3, the later topics in this part. And yes, this is going to be the most mathematical analysis heavy week we've had so far. Stick with me, I'll do my best to explain the concepts to you. We are covering some of the most fundamental things in astronomy. We're going to talk about Kepler's laws of planetary motion, Newtonian gravity, and then put all that together to understand how things move in the universe as a result of gravity and how things orbit one another. So how the Earth orbits the sun, how the sun orbits within the Milky Way galaxy, how the Milky Way galaxy moves around in the universe itself. So absolutely fundamental topics. So bear with the heavier mathematics. And hopefully we can all get there. I do want to share with you one exciting announcement that I'm going to save for the end, and then a couple of course announcements that you should be aware of. So let's get to our announcements. So quiz 2 is happening this week. Many of you have already done your first attempt for quiz 2, so thank you for going ahead and knocking that out nice and early. And just a reminder, since we had some grading turbulence as I developed how I was going to do the grading for the quizzes so I can appropriately give you your final quiz grades, what I'm doing is I am putting your final quiz grades into an assignment. You don't have to do anything with it. It's just a grade placeholder that's called quiz score. So whenever you finish your second attempt on Friday, I'll release quiz 2 score, which will be the average of your 2 attempts if you took both of them, the score you got in the first attempt if you decide to skip the second attempt, or, well, I guess those are the options. So that's where I'll put your quiz score. Canvas can't handle how I do this 2-attempt grading scheme. So this is the solution that should negate any grade turbulence like you experienced last week. So make sure you do quiz 2. I'll create a discussion after everybody finishes their first attempt today. So that should be available to you tomorrow. Be aware that exam 1 is coming up. It is 2 weeks from now. It's going to happen during week 7. That's the 28th through the 2nd of October. So yes, the 28th of September will be your first attempt on exam 1. Same 2-attempt policy as exists with quizzes. I do have a study guide for exams. I call them my exam must-knows. I will be releasing that to you later this week, so you have plenty of time to work with it, go through it, study from it, and build your own study guide with it. With exams, building a study guide, my studying suggestion is very similar to the quiz studying suggestion. What you should do is work to create a 1 to 2 page study guide on a sheet of paper. So go ahead and fill out a sheet of paper with your own study guide. First study, go all the way through as you normally would study for an exam, and then try to put together a 1 to 2 page study guide that you can reference while you're taking the exam, since this is open note. In the creation of the study guide itself, you are doing a lot of the necessary studying. Exam 1 is going to cover units 1, parts 1 through 3. So we're finishing out the last exam material this week. I also want to urge you that if you send me, I've been getting lots of emails about class material. And I know every once in a while some of this stuff might seem like it's kind of silly, or maybe you don't want to publicly say what you're having trouble with, so you do want to shoot me an email. But I've been getting enough of them where I just wanted to remind everybody that we have these weekly course discussions for the material that we're going over in the class. So instead of sending me an email directly and then I have to respond to a few dozen emails, usually on the same topics, think about just posting those in the Canvas discussions. Then everybody can see the question, which will probably make some other people feel more comfortable because they're like, oh, I had that question too. And everybody can see my response and other students' responses to the question, and we can all benefit from that. Plus, it makes my life a whole lot easier to know that all the information, all the questions that I'm going to be getting are going in one place, instead of me having to check 3 or 4 different resources just to figure out who needs help where. Please also don't forget that I have office hours. They're Zoom office hours. I have a waiting room, so I deal with students one at a time. They're open. The times are listed on the syllabus and a link to the Zoom session. They're twice per week. So go ahead and check out those times. If you want to pop in, say hello, or ask questions about the material, then go ahead and use the Zoom office hours. It is a chance for you to have a one-on-one session with me to discuss whatever you'd like to about this class. Also, don't forget that we have 4 wonderful teaching assistants for this class. They are listed in the syllabus with their emails. And one of the things they're doing, other than just answering questions, if you email them, they are willing to offer you tutoring sessions as well, absolutely free, that you can schedule with them. See the syllabus for their emails. You can shoot them if you wanted additional help. Some of you have already done this. You can request a tutoring session or just a time to sit down with Zoom and chat with them about the course material if you don't want to use my office hours or chat with me. And with my office hours, I'm also available by appointment. But if the office hours do work for you, try to do that. I have a pretty busy schedule, and those are times that I've set aside during the week. Also, I hope to have it out by the end of this week. It is time to go ahead and make the extra credit that I have in this class available to you. So I'll be creating and releasing the extra credit opportunities for this class. It'll be a series of extra credit assignments that you can do. So they are 100% voluntary. And the way that they work is that they will be worth either 1 plus 1% or plus 1.5% added to your final grade in this class, with a maximum of plus 5%, half a letter grade that you can earn in addition to whatever your average is in this class. So at the end of the semester, I calculate your average and then I add the extra credit to that average. Most of the assignment, or a few of the assignments, can be done more than once. So some opportunities can be done repeatedly. There'll be more information as I release that. And now we have the assignments for the week. So the week 5 engagement exercise, as always, is going to be due this coming Sunday. That's the 20th of September at 11:59 p.m. I expect to have that to you by Thursday evening. And again, you'll have an infinite number of tries. Homework 3, Unit 1, Part 2 is due this week. It's due on Wednesday, as homeworks are always due at 11:59 p.m. So this Wednesday is the 16th of September. Homework 4, Unit 1, Part 3, which I'll be releasing on Canvas later today, is going to be due next Wednesday, the 23rd of September at 11:59 p.m. And that will be the last homework assignment that's related to Exam 1 materials, just so you're aware of that. And finally, a really big announcement. So it just came out. You might see the news articles trickling in, because I'm sure all of you get notifications and alerts whenever cool astronomy things happen. But this one's going to hit the national news cycle, the global news cycle, because this might be one of the biggest announcements that's happened in astronomy in quite a while. It was announced today by a team of Cardiff University researchers and MIT researchers that they have detected biosignatures in the upper atmosphere of Venus. Venus is the sister twin planet to the Earth, nearly the same size as Earth, a little bit closer to the sun, but it has a monstrous atmosphere, 90 times thicker than our atmosphere, and it is incredibly hot. The surface is hot enough to melt lead, it has clouds of sulfuric acid in that very thick atmosphere, which you can see in the picture. So we never really suspected it to be the place where we might first discover life elsewhere in the solar system, until now. And yes, I am talking about very extraordinary evidence about life elsewhere in our solar system. If you go up high into the atmosphere of Venus, the pressures drop, the temperatures drop, just like they do if you go a higher altitude here on Earth. And you reach a point where the temperatures are very suitable for life and the pressures are very suitable for life, and they're up above all those nasty sulfuric acid clouds. And it is in that region of the atmosphere that seems quite hospitable for life that these astronomers, using a variety of different telescopes, microwave telescopes and a few other telescopes, have discovered the evidence of phosphine gas, which might not sound all that exciting until you realize that phosphine gas is one of the quintessential biosignatures. Biosignatures are just pieces of evidence that we look for that are highly indicative of life. Why is phosphine really interesting? Well, the abundances, the amount of phosphine gas that they detected in the atmosphere, can only be produced, as far as we know, by anaerobic life that exists without oxygen. They've done a slurry of other experiments to figure out where else phosphine gas could come from, because you can only produce it in a limited number of ways. And life is pretty much the #1 way. Anaerobic life is the #1 way. And with the abundances that they see in the Venusian atmosphere, life so far is the only explanation that works. So does that mean that there is life on Venus in the upper atmosphere? Is that the announcement they made? No. This is a detection of phosphine gas, and through exhaustive efforts of trying to figure out what could be creating this phosphine gas in Venus, the only one that works so far is life. That is extraordinary. Of course, that's not saying that life does exist there. We actually would need a real positive detection of, look, we have this life right here. But this is certainly going to change what our interests are in solar system exploration and research. So, a really, really big announcement. This might be one of the biggest ones I've made for any of these classes since the detection of gravitational waves. Whew. I hope you enjoy that. I have created a Canvas discussion to get your reactions, to discuss this further. I've put additional information, press releases, the actual scientific article in Nature Astronomy, a video release. Please consider contributing to that discussion. I'm really excited about it. And I will see you later this week in this week's videos.